Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries RPG podcast. I'm John, and this is the second part of our discussion, our session 0 for the Band of Blades campaign that Johannes is going to be running for us.
Okay, so we need to pick I think let's start with doing something the book doesn't really tell us to do in this way, because we are rebels, I guess. The book says that the person running the game picks the chosen and the broken. Now, what are these? So in this setting, and we can talk more about the setting in general as well, there are divinities, that is a fact. However, the divinities don't really interact with the world. There are no priests that cast magic spells. There's no wizards to cast spells, really. In that sense, it is very sort of restricted as far as the sort of fantastical elements that regular people will have ever seen is.
Yeah.
However, there's a tradition of these divinities, which there's like every people have their own sort of understanding of how divinities work. They have their own pantheons and whatnot. So these divinities, it's called choosing, when they infuse a willing person with their essence to the point that they're kind of like just a vessel for the power of the divinity. And they do that in response to certain large threats to humanity or the location where their interests lie. So that has happened quite a bit since the Cinder King rose, and it's only 5 years ago that the Cinder King rose in the West, and has since decimated multiple nations in his war of conquest, just converting everyone to his undead armies, which he needs more of as far as material goes, because need muscle in this setting. You can't have skeleton, the Harryhausen type figures, you can't do that. You need flesh to reanimate. If there's just bones, it doesn't do anything. You can't reanimate bones. And these chosen, obviously, in sequence, they went there as the gods chose, the gods of the lands that he was destroying chose people to be their vessels. They went there, opposed the Cinder King, and the Cinder King destroyed them. This is what we call breaking, which is basically the Cinder King taking this divinely powered individual and just converting them to his side, whether that's, I think they're all undead to some degree or another. So the Cinder King has broken several of the chosen. I think everyone who has went against him has been broken so far, which is a cause of some concern to the people who are used to the fact being, our God has given us a vessel, so our problem is probably going to be sorted soon. Is good, but it's not going to be happening this time because the Cinder King keeps breaking this chosen, and the broken are his lieutenants, the generals that lead the army of undeath against you. So we are choosing for our campaign to give it those thematic elements that we are interested in, to broken to oppose the Legion and this part of the world. And we're going to choose one chosen that accompanies the Legion on this trek to Skydagger. And all of these, both the broken and the chosen, come with certain stuff. To give it context to us, our chosen is going to be kind of like the ship that we had in Scum and Villainy. It will give us some bonuses, but it's not something you directly control in that way, especially now because it's sort of a demigod. So they're going to have their own interests and their own objectives and agendas and grudges and whatnot, their own idiosyncrasies based on who they are and what the god is that they are in. So I think let's start with the bad stuff. So again, with the themes of horror, there's three broken that we can pick from them.
These are going to effectively be like the main bad guys for our story.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the main bad guys who will be, you could set up a confrontation with them, but that is sort of like an end boss thing on a higher level. That's
Cool.
You going up to the Dark Tower and be like, yo, Sauron, put up them fits.
I was going to say, from what I understand from when we've talked about it, Johannes, the broken that are chosen, they sort of add a specific flavour of the sort of like the opposition to the game.
So we start with, I'm just going to read through these because it's fairly important to understand what they bring in. I'll actually use the physical book because my PDF is more geared towards actual, so it doesn't have all the juicy word bits. Here we go. So we have 3 broken. The first of which is the Blighter. The Blighter, also called the Flesh Blighter, brings in the following themes: body horror, surgery and science gone wrong, toxic gases and horrors of trench warfare, troops oozing with pus and bodies knitted together in disturbing ways, limbs and organs where they shouldn't be, open sores and bolted on parts. Very much like twisted evil alchemy and poison, acid, the sort of like contamination thing. So that is the first one. And then, so the second broken is called Breaker, also known as the Stormbreaker. This one brings in the following themes: long blood rituals, tension, uncertainty, psychological horror, perversion of natural order, wind, thunder, lightning, wailing, monstrous transformations of beautiful things, hexes that bind the bones and make you doubt what you see. A sort of, well, psychological horror bit with occultism, more magic. Like this is the one where you bring in more of the like supernatural, overt, wild stuff. Kind of almost a bit like Dracula-esque in that way, that it's not so much about here's the zombies. It's more about, okay, so there's a storm coming. Is that the bad kind of storm? Is that going to bring in the bad shit, or is that just and you going into places and being like, hey, villagers, like what's up? And you're invited in and whatnot. Eventually, you figure, oh wait, the thing carved on the door, that's black magic, and we're here now. We've eaten some dinner with these guys, and probably better go back home. And of course, the transformation stuff as well, with more in line of like, this is a person. Oh, it's not. It's actually X. The third one, final one, is Render. Bone Render. Following themes: brutal simplicity, overwhelming force, hunger for blood, the unstoppable tide of undead, metal and smoke and fire, and the depersonalization of war, totalitarianism and rigidity, piles of dead bodies, rivers running red with blood, war is hell, war machines, unrelenting zombie army, militaristic, grind you down with overwhelming force.
I would say the first 2 and not the last one, but that's just me. Votes, guys.
I like the first one and the third one. You muted, Matthew.
Yep.
Yeah, I've called him. I said that I like the second one probably.
So we've definitely
Blighter.
Yeah, we've definitely got the first one locked.
Yeah.
So it's just between the last 2. So you voted for 1 and 2, didn't you? And Matthew, you voted for 1 and 2 as well. So I'd say we go 1 and 2 then.
1 and.
Do you vote for 2 and 3, Matthew?
No, I went 1 and 2.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Matthew went 1 and 2. Hannah went 1 and 2. And
1 and 3. No, not 3. No one's got the
yeah,
render.
I went for 3. Yeah. I went for 1 and 3. The rest was 1
okay.
and 2. So
Yeah.
I'd say go for 1 and 2 then.
Okay, so we're going with the Blighter and the Breaker. So the like dark alchemy and also witchcraft, horror, rituals kind of thing. All right. So we leave the render to the total war elsewhere. And we're going to go ahead with, okay, good. So that brings in all that this entails. We will see how that actually comes about when we play the game, because these broken and also your chosen and all of your legionary characters, all of these gain XP in a way. So all of them will develop going forward. So that's the thing where you're watching a horror movie, like a zombie movie or a vampire movie, and around like the halfway point in the movie, you're like, wait, what's this? Like this wasn't here before. Like that's a new type of vampire. Oh shit. So that's the kind of thing that will happen, because these guys get more different kinds of awful shit as we go on. Okay, then, having chosen all the bad things, one of the chosen to accompany the remnants. There's 3 of these as well. The first one is Shreya, the chosen of Azrika, the Barton goddess of mercy and healing. Intensely driven by Azrika's fury over the undead breach of the mercy of death, Shreya is aggressive in her pursuit of their destruction. She is willing to sacrifice much, including those in the Legion, if the reward is great enough. Her top priority is defeating the Broken in this theater of war while staging a tactical strategist, first and foremost, brilliant military mind, chosen of goddess of healing. So that's the kind of elements that bring in. I'll just read some more because there's like cool stuff here. So Shreya's tactical mind and near supernatural understanding of strategy were the reason the Eastern Kingdoms pushed in this latest offensive. Counted by humanity as a major defeat, it is unclear if she has even registered the cost. Her demeanor can be inscrutable and intimidating. She is said to stand guard at odd hours, staring into the darkness for unseen signs of danger, a practice simultaneously comforting and unnerving. Select Shreya as your chosen if you want to run a more military-focused campaign with offensive actions and strategy centrally. And then we have the Horned One, shape-shifting chosen of the Panyar forest god. When the Panyar goddess of the moon was broken. So, also setting details important. The moon has been shattered. So, yeah. When the goddess of the moon, Nyx, was broken, the moon in the sky shattered. Where others were filled with fear, the young girl known as Silver Dancing Moonlight had only rage at the loss of her goddess. She found an ancient temple, and the Horned One offered her the choice. Her rage fuels the Horned Ones, and together they seek vengeance for their loss. They use shapeshifting to spy out enemy tactics before engaging, and they guide with cunning rather than force. Where some of the chosen are military-minded and tactically focused, the Horned One functions on instinct. This is not a warrior clashing with an opponent. This is a predatory hunter testing and learning about how to best kill their prey. The Horned One spends a lot of time in animal forms, watching, observing, and learning. There's it's just different kinds of animals most of the time. And select the Horned One as your chosen if you want to run a campaign focused more on mysterious powers and clever routes. And the final one, Zora, the chosen of the living god of the Zemyati. The living god of the Zemyati created 9 chosen long ago, and unlike the chosen of other gods, they never burn out or fade. Instead, they persist until they're completing their task, and though they can be killed. Zora has defied even this expectation. She broke Dar, which is a nation, long ago, and ended the God's war using terrifying magic to strike the god within a chosen before walking off the battlefield, and rumor and legend. As the Legion was about to be shattered in this latest offensive, Zora appeared to save them. Zora is a challenging chosen for the rank and file. On one hand, she is by far the most personable of the chosen, seeming to genuinely like engaging with people. On the other hand, is constantly testing those around her in her little ways, honing them in a fine blade. There are stories of legionnaires waking up in a tree in the woods, a single knife strapped to their chest, miles from territory, miles of territory to cross back to, or warriors that wake up to a battle cry as she strikes a blow to start the morning training. She drinks with the victors and shows sad disappointment to those that retreat from battle. Choose Zora as your chosen if you want to run a campaign focused on mighty battles and clashing directly with terrifying power. Any preferences?
I'm leaning towards number 3, Zora.
Yeah, I kind of like that one. I kind of like the Horned One as well. I do kind of like that one.
Yeah, punch the evil in the face.
Like I said, we've talked before. I think the more interesting interactions you could talk to.
Yep. So we're going.
The second one's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not human
Yeah.
in that sense at all. Yeah. Even though like the power is contained in this human vessel. Yeah. The god is distinctly non-human, whereas it's the opposite with Zora because she is like an idealized version of like heroism in a way. So yeah, we're going with Zora, and we're going with the Blighter, and we're going with the Breaker. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about the choice because we're choosing one special ability for Zora as well. I guess we can just talk about it now because I don't know that we'll have extremely more context after making player characters, so we'll just go through it now because we have chosen this thing.
Okay.
So the chosen get abilities which they confer onto you. It's a bonus for how the Legion works when they level up. So the abilities for Zora, which we pick one from to start with, are Star of the Dawn. When you advance, say you move from one location to another on the map, you roll pressure as if one lower, which means that pressure is how surrounded are you by the undead as you try and move away. So it's what the flavor text is: Zora rides and protects the troop when the Legion advances. This can reduce pressure roll below 1, so it makes it easier for you around, because Zora does the Gandalf thing with the light, I guess. Sacred Seals. All Legionnaires gain special armor versus magical effects. So this would be you have something on you, this is the thing we need to talk about when this happens, but she gives you some sort of sacred seals, which you can then use to resist when there's magic coming your way. You can use that to put that aside or lessen the effect, because it's a sacred. Living God's Fury. If you are the quartermaster and you spend religious supplies before an assault mission, so if you have religious stuff and you spend it before you go and it's like straight out attack mission, you can get +1 to the engagement roll, which is to select the starting roll, if we remember from Scum and Villainy. You get 1 more die on that, and everyone on the mission gets extra gear to destroy the undead. Basically like anti-undead stuff to bring on to the mission. Living God's Kiss. When you rest and recuperate, you remove corruption, because she does it somehow. We need to talk about this as well, how that actually happens. This is a thing that you cannot do otherwise. Corruption is permanent. However, Zora has an ability, if she has it, remove it somehow, which is quite valuable, because you cannot do it normally at all. Living God's Vigor. If you are... well, I suppose all of them are. Say the Legionnaire characters can take an extra level 2 harm, so more like endurance in battle. Heart of Heroes. Everyone gets an extra XP trigger, which is if you engage a higher threat opponent by yourself. If you single out the cave troll and you're like, all right, well, let me get my shield out. I'm gonna go to work. You guys deal with that. I'll deal with this one. This big one's mine. You're gonna get XP for that. Anointed. This is going to a thing that you don't know about yet, but there's different types of mission, and specific types of mission gain XP for the Chosen. If you engage with that particular type of mission a lot, they gain XP. Anointed means that all the possible 3 categories count for Zora. You get like triple the amount of opportunities to give Zora XP. And the last one is Blood of Fire. If you spend religious supplies before a mission, everyone gets fire oil, which napalm. So any of those particularly stand out to you guys?
Well, I mean, I can see from a sort of yeah, they're all pretty good. I can see from a sort of meta point that the corruption removal want to be very useful. There's no other way to do that, but also I can see the benefit of because presumably when the Chosen get XP, they can acquire other of these abilities.
Yep.
So I can see the advantage of going for the more XP for the Chosen one, sort of first of all. Then trying to bump the Chosen up as quickly as to get other abilities. I don't know what you guys think about it.
My personal thought on this, I'd probably at the start, things would get a lot as time goes on. So if the opportunity rather than
well, which one's the anointed one?
That's the one you're pitching for as well.
Oh, the one we get more XP.
Yep.
I completely agree, but can we go for the improved healing one next?
Yeah, that's what I see as a benefit. We take the more XP one, we bump it up as quickly as we can, then try and get some of the other ones which are more useful in and of themselves. Yeah, exactly.
Judging by what Johannes just said, is the game gets tougher as time goes on.
Yeah, so, it definitely does.
So the idea that use that time wisely, accelerate.
Yeah, then hopefully by the time it does get tougher later on, the Chosen's got some more abilities under their belt, which help us out in the later stages.
That means that we have to do missions obviously up their ability.
Yeah, but doesn't the anointed ability mean that all 3 of a category is?
Yeah, there's more than 3, but every other Chosen gets to pick 1. Right. And that's the case for Zora as well. But if we pick Anointed, all her 3 categories count. So
are we basically saying that we take Anointed first, and then we while we're relatively sort of at the start? I mean, I know it's not easy going, but while it's easier, we try and hit as many of those missions as possible.
Yeah, that's the idea.
To boost Zora. Then when we get to the later stage, when things are really getting desperate. Yep. Hopefully we've got a few more of those abilities under our belts to keep us...
Hopefully our shows will go back as well.
Yeah, I mean, you pick the one that is explicitly about, is there a great danger? a strong opponent. Count me in.
Yeah.
It's like-
I think it's anointed for the ability.
it specifically highlights in the description here. There's a good ability to take for longer games. Also, something here that we might think about as we play. It says in parentheses after that, particularly if you plan to play future campaigns. We could, if we eventually get to Skydagger Keep and survive, we can play the next one. I will cook up like a custom thing for us, and then we'll proceed with that and see where we end up, and it's going to be great.
Well,
but let's get there first.
I'll say, you know me, guys. When have ever played a campaign where my character's live ranked?
But the book does set your expectations. You can actually fail.
Yeah. There's multiple ways to fail, actually.
Well, that, I've got to admit, almost perversely that forward too, because in a traditional, even if like your character did not sort of lose the game, make new happy days. If the league destroy,
it's what I like about we have to do this.
We've got to make sure we don't.
Can't promise.
Yeah. Even as I was saying that, I was like, I'm not even convinced myself. No.
Okay, so we have our chosen. I have the broken, which are not something I'm going to go into more detail on this because that's the thing we're going to find out in game. We don't need to generate the leadership. So let's pick some characters now for the first selection of those. So under Legionnaires, you can find the, I think the category is called Specialist. So all these here, Heavy, Medic, Officer, Scout, and Sniper, these are all called Specialists because they have achieved a specialized rank, which these are all, by the way, in-game terms. So the Legion calls someone with a tower shield and a lot of armor in the front lines, they call them a Heavy. So that's like an actual in-game term for that kind of person. And the actual rank and file people there are called soldiers, and the heavies are just called heavies. So there's also characters other than these specialists, which we're not going to start out with. We use those when we go forward, but there is a sort of progression curve here where you can make rookies, which are, and it's fantastic because these all have very thematic tropey stuff attached to them if you have the military context in mind. So you have the rookie, and in your equipment you're going to have cooking supplies because you're the one carrying all the pans and, and the pots.
The baggage handler.
Yeah, and then one of your other inventory items is a naive hope.
Oh man!
Oh boy! And then you graduate from being a rookie to a soldier, and then you move on, and you accumulate stuff that you bring with you. When you pass the test, you do the thing that you're supposed to. We'll talk about when that happens. When you're a soldier and you're trying to be a heavy, and maybe it's all the other heavies in the Legion, then make you do this test against them, and then you succeed, and then you're a heavy. But bring some stuff along from when you were a soldier. You accumulate the experience, and you're not just a heavy. You'll be a heavy that has gone through stuff before. But we're going to start out with specialists. So please take a look. I know that you have two already, but look at them and pick something that seems cool to you. I can read some stuff from here. It's fairly self-explanatory, but for anyone who's listening. So heavy. Play a heavy if you want to shine with might and determination against the dark. Play a medic if you want to play a medic if you want to get your fellow soldier through a mission alive. Play an officer if you want to command your troops to victory even when they're up against certain death. Play a scout if you want to see the enemy coming and always know what you're up against. Play a sniper if you want to dispatch the most dangerous threats from afar. So those are the specialists that we have at our disposal.
What are you guys think?
Heavy.
Yep.
I think I'd go scout or sniper.
I was thinking of going medic.
Quality.
I'll go sniper.
Okay, so before you get to filling those, let me make some copies for you specifically because I need to reuse this stuff.
Oh yeah, there's many of these coming.
Yeah. Then again, this is the thing again with people who have used Roll20 before. John will know about this. Again, just for anyone who's listening, the sheets are so good. You make a character sheet, and then when you're trying to actually go to the sheet for the first time in the little sheet tab, it will ask you, what kind of sheet is this? Is it one of these specialists? Is it a soldier? Is it a rookie? Is it a chosen? Is it the broken? What is this? And you select, and the menu goes away, and it gives you the the sheet that you clicked on, which is just wow, guys. There's some quality of life you don't see. That made me very happy. So I retract my
I can
statement.
see how happy you are.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Because listen, Matthew, I can just 2 clicks and I will have more heavies. So
Life is good.
yeah, it's great. Yeah. So yeah, just start filling in. You can put the name. Sorry. There's some in-game stuff like culture stuff and context we're going to talk about before we get to filling it. But I'll just mention if you open. I'm looking at the heavy. So at the top left, there's the Band Blades logo. Below that is a gray box. That is the name box. So when you're writing your name, write it there. I wrote heavy there so that it would show up as heavy.
Makes
in
sense.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So we have
The name and then like that's
yeah.
That's special.
Yeah. Okay. So I think just because of the way that the book is laid out, first we have chosen a playbook. Okay, let's just do it exactly the way it says in the book. So we have chosen a playbook. Cool. Then choose a special ability. So one of those in the big gray column with the red flag. Pick one of those.
You mean the racial?
No, it's the special abilities
Right,
at the very
okay.
top with the red flag, that gray box.
I've ticked.
Yeah, so you can remove sort of slight wound with your tonics. Yeah. Oh, do you get the first one by default?
Yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
get
thinking,
You
is
get attache.
Oh, yeah.
Is it pre-filled?
Yeah, for the medic specifically. Unless it says something else, just don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I was going to say, for instance, on the medic, you may even out
All right.
gain this ability for free when you become a medic.
Yeah, not everyone gets that medic. I see you have, Matthew, you are copyright infringing, and we will be terminated by GW with gusto
God damn
in
it!
mere moments. So
I need to change the name.
it was a good time, guys, playing, but I'm a fan, so unfortunately I do. Yeah, no, it's whatever. So yeah, it says in the book, if you can't decide which one to pick, go with the first one on the list. It's placed there for a good default choice. Can't speak.
I'll go with that. I suppose I'll go with the top one. Start as a...
So have we picked our special stuff?
I've gone with one eye. You replace an eye with an alchemical tides. It just kind of seemed like who would survive? Who'd be like the 10% that survives this battle? The guy with an eye that can visible
with a
things.
cyber eye.
Yeah.
I've gone for the default one, which is Bulwark, which means I can spend anchor uses, whatever that might be, as special armor against consequences to a squad I am defending.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That is basically a resource point you can spend.
I assumed it must be.
Yeah, that happened.
Cool.
Okay, and it's also against a special armor against consequences to a squad you're defending. So it's kind of like a bodyguard move. So you can, the way I'm reading that is like if someone's trying to like tag the medic, you can be like, nah, nah.
Yeah, that's how I saw it as well.
So
Human shield, effectively.
I'm just imagining Hannah's character like picking up one of those injured now, being like, "I can be your hero."
Another copyright strike. Yeah,
I think Bulwark's pretty good because you can take on an entire. So it works.
Yeah, heavies are no joke.
Yeah.
All right, so we have chosen our special abilities. Now we choose heritage. These are the cultural context for the different peoples of the Eastern Kingdoms, because we are basically remnants of people who came from there and got wrecked here. There are locals as well, but the basic understanding that the game has is that you will be one of these 4 different Eastern Kingdom heritage representatives. So there's a bunch of detail you will find on your... Okay, so there's a very minimal heritage thing on the left side if you scroll down under advancement, which I will give you way more context now. So I have quite a lot of info for each. So I'll give you the sort of a couple of sentences long pitch and then pick which one sounds interesting to you. And then I'll go into detail as per your choices. So the first one is Bartons. Bartons are close-knit and devout. Many wear jewelry made of tokens granted to them by family and the people they have forged strong friendship. Their culture is agrarian and ruled by a council. Second one, Orites are cosmopolitan and influential. Their country is known for its technology. Their advances in clockwork and alchemy are almost as defining as their obsession with nobility and lineage. Paniar come from the deep forest, which was touched by an ancient god. Everyone that spends enough time in the forest eventually gains an animal trait, such as cat-like eyes or noticeable fang. Their culture focuses on great deeds, and Paniar must earn the third part of their name. The fourth and last one is Zemyati, and this is where Zora is coming from, just if anyone's interested. Zemyati are mountain-dwelling clans, and their culture is a complex arrangement of oaths between various clans, between a clan and its members, and between a Zemyati and the world. Very much obsessed with swearing blood oaths and like living by those. So those are the four. Any particular interest there?
I'm liking the sound of the Zemyati.
Them and the Panyar for me.
Yeah, Panya do something.
Mm-hmm.
I always think both Zimiati and Panya were the
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is there a border between those two places?
We don't have the map, so we're gonna say yes. We can see the forest of Pania on the very right lower edge of the map. We can see Pania forest in there. So Pania is there, and we don't have the exact location of Or, but we can just say it's beyond Pania. So I'll go into. No, sorry. Was it? Am I talking out of my ass? Because we were interested in Paniar and Zemyati, right? Just everyone. Yeah. Okay. Again, we don't know where Zemia is, rather. So you just place it wherever. Anyway, the Legion takes in all comers, so it's a extremely sort of the melange of people. Yeah, it's like they take in everyone who's good for it. So to help you make the choice, I'll go through the Paniar and the Zemyati. So about the looks of the Paniar. Though dark eyes and dark hair are most common in the forests of their homeland, most Paniar color their hair using bright-hued dyes from Barta mixed with forest tubers. Each Paniar has an animal feature gained by living a dozen years in the forest of Pania. They favor clothes that allow freedom, but tend to copy local dress customs when traveling. And you should be able to see on your Paniar traits that you can choose from, which is just the bonuses that you can get. I'll check. I think you have two of them.
Is this different? Is this every time you make a character?
Yeah, every time you make a character, it's one of these heritages. So you pick two traits from the heritage you choose from. You can see the traits there, and I'll just give you some more context with the names. So Pioneer names are from three different parts: a color name, a mark name, deed name. So you could be Amber Charging Blaze as a result of who you are. And there's different varieties here, which I can give you access to. So that's the Paniar. We have the Zemyati. The Zemyati are pale-skinned and favor heavier clothing in their dress, embroidered with gold and silver thread. Both men and women wear braided jewelry and accent their dress with forged akin to armor. All Zemyati keep a small ritual dagger on them for the swearing of blood oath. Yep. And their names are a given name and then a patronymic or matronymic. So this is very, the names here very much with that sort of like off-brand Slavic flavor. So you could be Adrimir Daniovic. Yeah, so those are Paniar and Zemyati. Any favorites?
Definitely leaning more towards Panyar now.
See, I was leaning the Panya until you mentioned sort of Slavic, like Russian stylings of the Zemyati, and I've lent back towards them again.
Obviously, we're going to get to play various different all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go Zemyati.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So let's go with I have shared. If you look under handouts and then references, there's the cultures of the East, where you can read more about your particular thing. And at the bottom of each of those entries, you have the names which are listed in the book if you want to use those names, create the name for your character. I have to say, I really, really like the Paniar naming convention.
Yeah, it does look sweet.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty sweet as well. Like, I love me some blood oaths.
Yeah, man. Appropriately.
I think I'll go.
I also find it highly amusing that the surviving Alrights, pretty much everyone is a noble of some sort, and there's no, and it's sort of like that's true.
Are they all zombies?
They're I think it's sort of implied that even in their homeland, it's a case of everyone's claiming a title. So which is funny.
Pick two of these.
Yeah, two heritage traits.
But these can be different between each. Like.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, could you pick one?
Yeah. Because it's great. Because the sheet is
I
great.
love this. I love it. Yes, absolutely. I need that. Yes, want that. Never have I wanted a trait.
And of course, everyone can develop nicknames. That's the thing you do in the Legion. So
Well, what I've come up with this guy is he's known more by his nickname than his actual. So he's sort of...
Also, do you actually get to like swap round, like to your
Oh
creating?
yeah.
All right, cool. So, like I said, I've it was ages ago I read sort of most of the book, and I've only recently sort of written to get a bit of a flavour of it.
Yep.
That's cool.
So, in effect, we are playing the whole of the Legion as it exists now. We're playing all the people who make the calls, so like the officers at the very top, and then we have 6 squads or 6 remnants of regiments which have their own names and stuff, and we're playing all the people in the Legion, and one of the Legion leaders gets to pick who goes on a mission. So whoever ends up playing that character, and for those, I'm going to say we're going to stick with them. So John, if you are the quartermaster, you're going to be the quartermaster like until the end of the game, just to make it consistent on that level. Unless, I guess, if by some incredible fuck up your leaders get killed, then we'll shift them around. But I think we might have problems at that point.
What are the chances of that happening?
Yeah.
We essentially look after our characters as the campaign.
See, now I'm just hoping that the squadron.
Yeah, they have their names. They have names. Yeah.
So that's some sort of like red squad standing by.
Yeah.
If you open the marshal, I was looking to,
and they all have a bit of flavor text and their own banner as well, which I have graphics for.
Sweet.
So if we go on a mission and it's all about the grinning ravens, and the grinning ravens do a good job, but they all come back beat to shit. Whereas the marshal can look at them and be like, these people are half dead and they do a good job. So I don't want to get them killed. So they're going to sit this one out and recuperate. And we're going to send out, we're going to send out the silver stags instead on this other mission that we're doing.
I do like the fact as well, we might be like, we've got the Star Vipers and they're like a bit wiggity wank whenever we send it. But obviously it's actually us playing them.
Yeah.
I love the idea of that.
And if some mission has one particular character really fucking it up when we're doing the planning of missions, like, yeah, we like the Star Vipers, but man, like that Madcap Jones, like, that's a fucked up dude.
I like the idea on the mission. We're like, why do they send us on this? This is not our expert. What's going on? What do they know?
Yeah,
it'll be good.
I think there's some potential for like, see if you wanted to have like a cut scene, people like talking in the other units, like, I don't know what the fucking commander's thinking. He should have sent the Grinning Ravens on this mission. We're like the best requisition specialists we've got, and then fucking ghost owls on.
And you have some get back to camp scenes here as well. Like, it's built into the structure where you have a little role play when you come back from a mission. So then if you come back and you're all beat to shit and the mission was a failure, and then you have the Grinning Ravens, they're like, yeah, what did you expect? You sent in the fucking Star Vipers and Madcap Jones. Like, it's going to be bad.
Boys to do men's job.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yes. Does everyone have a name?
Yep.
So we have, for our roster, Grey Standing Cliff, the Panyar Heavy. We have Theonin Islanovich, the medic, and we have undoubtedly dressed in dark clothing,
robes of deep.
Skulking the fuck about. We have Rain Deadeye, the sniper.
Now we're seeing Matthew's real reason for being a sniper, so we can get that skull com.
Yeah. Yeah, standing on rooftops next to gargoyles.
I don't know if you realise my trait.
It's maneuver, I think.
Yeah.
Can I rename it? Just on the sheet. Just edit the character sheet and see if he knows.
Let's say, Matthew, you can have a 12-part progress clock to rename your maneuver into Skulk for this character.
So do we need to pick traits for us?
Yeah. You pick 2 culture traits, heritage traits for the Zemiati.
I took tough, ignore level 1 harm. I took bold, an extra dice to risk desperate. Sounds like...
Yeah. That sounds very useful.
I'm going to take tough. Oh, that's when you click on your other heritages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty fucking sweet.
Me and Matthew were slobbering all over the sheet here.
I'm going to go for tough and stubborn. That's the...
Yeah, tough and stubborn, like your bread.
I like to think of like the sort of like the tough many years. You can survive a bit of harm to sort of administer to like sort of squadron, but then like that whole stubborn, like, don't you die on me, sort of like thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, then we have you can add 4 more action pips on
of
your
course,
things
right, yeah.
here, and during character creation, no action rating may be higher than 2. So add 4, and I'm looking at because everyone gets like a special thing. I'm looking at if you get it by default, like if you just get it when become a heavy.
This like the insight prowess, that stuff.
Yeah.
So for example, on the heavy, I've got 1 point in anchor, 1 in wreck, 1 in and 2 in skirmish.
Yeah,
so
that's
I assume I'd be adding on to that. Yeah.
Did you add the anchor yourself?
I've not touched it yet. That's just how it's gone as default.
Yeah. Then I think because you get aim, which is a special thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I'm looking at snipers.
There's a bit lower down on the sheet, like an extra box of skill type things.
Let me just compare 2 sheets and we'll have an answer. Yep. Okay, so it looks like automatically, depending on what the character is. So, for example, with the heavy, it will put anchor at the top of your insight, right? Yeah. And with the medic, you will have doctor at the top, and with the sniper, you will have aim, and all those are special to you. So you get one in that. Cool. So that was the one that I was looking at. So add on 4 more pips in any combination you choose. However, only 2. That's the amount.
Okay.
And the special thing is, I'll just find the information for that because it works a little bit different.
Aims like a thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's for you only.
And how much did you say we're adding on? Sorry.
4 more pips.
Can you add pips to your special?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm just looking at if you can get more of them. Probably not, like different special ones. But you can add on like a second pip to your special thingy.
That's the only thing this should highlight.
Yeah, but it's at the top, so now we know. For everyone, it's at the top. Yeah, for the specialist stuff, you don't roll them. Instead, you get uses equal to the number of pips you have in it per mission. You get to do a thing.
It just automatically happens.
Yep. Yeah. For example, for aim, each aim use allows you to increase the effect level of your shot 1 for 1. So when you're rolling, you might be, I'm spending 2 of my aim on this because I'm going to go for the headshot.
Or making incredible shots.
Yeah. It's just like you bring out the railgun and
someone's made a coin in impenetrable armor, and I'm going to do that.
Yep.
Done.
Also, Johnny, if you have the actual
it's there on page 70.
If you go to the actual specialist thing, it gives you advice for what kind of build you want to deliver. Cool. So on mine, for example, a gunslinger like that is how you could.
Yeah. So these what Matthew is referring to are starting builds. So if you don't want to fiddle with the pips yourself, you can look at the sort of thematic thing you could go for with each of these.
Cool. I'll have a look. 3, I think.
So you could go for combat medic scientist or moral combat are the different flavor.
Yeah, I probably will to start with.
In the shadow of a ring skulk.
He is the knight. Your sniper gets a really nice ability as well, the Crimson Shot, which you can use to do absolutely massive damage. However, you get trauma each time you use it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, this always ends well.
Well, I can only take 2 trauma before I die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can only use it. What?
That's the thing as well. Coming up through the rookie soldier specialist, there are advances there where you can increase your thresholds for stuff. So you could get more stress, more trauma boxes as you come up there.
Right, so I've just gone for the sort of combat medic build. So I've got Doctor 2, Research 2, Skirmish 1, Maneuver 2, Consort 1.
I've gone for an Overwatch. It's basically like in the backfield. So I've gone Aim 2, Scout to the starting. But I feel like to stand when that's how I
delve into some dark lore.
I won't necessarily always play this character.
And if your character gets 2 wounded, then it's probably smart. Leave them out.
I do like the fact one of the medic's special ability is called Dr. Feelgood.
Is it?
Yeah.
Does it come with a nice...
It says, spend 1 use of tonic to grant 1 person potency for a physical. So you're basically boosting someone up, pepping them up, feel good. I also love the film Moral Support. That once a mission if you tell a funny, personal or meaningful story when the squad's resting, may clear 1 stress. So I love the idea of you sat around the campfire at the end and you're telling some amusing story and everyone has a bit of a laugh and it's the spirit. Obviously I've not got that ability yet, but I do like it as a bit of flavour.
Yep. Okay, so I think the bit where it says notes at the top, there's another notes at the at the bottom, but the top one, I think that's where you're supposed to put down some cursory notes about what the character's looks are like. The thing it says in the book is, finally, think about how your character looks and acts towards others. Do they tend to be decked in fine garb, befitting their noble station? Are they secretive by nature and tend to lurk in the shadows? Record a quick description of the character's appearance and presentation.
Okay.
Gruff old man. 2 days from its retirement. Too old for this shit. Dislocated shoulder.
Boom.
Okay. And when we're done with that, also you can access the sheet for Zora as well, for upkeep and stuff. So we chose Anointed, which I've now marked on her sheet, and you can see a picture there of her as well. So that is indeed a circlet of fire hovering above her head, and so just a hilt with a blade of solid fire coming from it. She doesn't fuck around. And as a result of your having chosen Anointed, the Holy, Mystic, and Glory missions all give her XP, which is called Favor. Oh, and you also start with 1 already. So I've added at the top of her sheet 1 XP already. So you're on the path.
No way.
And I'll mark all the 3 in red. Favor category. Now we can choose 2. It says again that I should choose it, but I think it's fun to talk about this as a group. We choose 2 different features for Zora from the following list: alluring, blazing, fearsome, monstrous, radiant, shining, vicious, and transcendent.
I'm thinking blazing's got to be one of them. I mean, look at the amount of fire on that shizzle.
Mm-hmm. So
See, for me,
I quite like shining.
For me personally, I think fearsome, because I like the idea they're quite intimidating and they're teaching you, but they're quite
all right,
almost scary to be around sometimes.
Well, shining's a bit like blazing. Instead of blazing, why don't we go for shining and fearsome?
No, go for blazing and fearsome. You've bowed out on 2 or 3 decisions so far.
I'm just
Let's
happy
go with
to
your
be
thing.
here. I'm
Blazing and fearsome it is.
I'm just trying to get myself some props early doors so that when my characters are dying left, right, and centre, I won't get so much shit for it.
Okay, so we're going with fearsome.
And why don't we split the difference and go for radiant?
Okay, so I'm gonna read those out. So fearsome, terrifying in their outward manifestation. So basically, she's going to have this aura of menace that touches people on a primal level.
To be fair, if someone with like a fiery halo and like a burning sword and playtime against it,
so like this isn't no. I don't want to deal with this.
See, I feel like she's not unkind, but I feel also kind of primal.
Yeah, because she is basically the way that I interpret all that we know about Zora is she's kind of like a furious demigod.
Yeah.
That has a lot of capability for destruction and willingness to pursue that, and that is her essence, which she bleeds out into the world. So it's kind of like
how the world...
it's kind of like looking at nuclear missiles that walk, and it's like, oh, I know that's a weapon, and it can destroy everything here. Okay, so we're going with fearsome, and was it radiant?
Yep.
Brimming with the divine light that can be seen even the darkest of nights. Okay, so
That's kind of good because it's like we've got a balance there of both sort of negative.
Yeah. It's nice that whole thing, like fire on the image. Obviously, fire can be a great force for destruction, but also, that light can be a source of hope. You cook with fire. So, again, it's got a sort of positive and negative side.
Yep. So I'm going to say, in addition to her fiery halo and the fire sword, she's going to have eyes, just like pure light streaming out. And she's going to have this ambient light. Like, she is not going to go on any stealth missions at night. She is a beacon.
Nice.
And invites hostility as well with the light and also by her attitude. She's a warrior by nature. So she's going to be, in more ways than one, sort of like the guiding light, retreats, quite literally as well. So you need to hide her under... I love it, because if you need to bring her at night somewhere and you need to be secretive, you're going to need to make some pretty good rolls to convince her to be like, please, could you put these sheets on.
Get under the blanket.
Yeah. Then it's that'll be fun.
I lie under the sheet.
Good.
Just imagine if she talks to you, you feel it like her chest.
Yeah.
When she's directly.
Oh, it says here under the header "Chosen" in the campaign. The Chosen is akin to a battle cruiser. They are a powerful force and only used against major problems. So it is assumed that Chosen usually stays at camp, helping guard the remnants of the Legion against the periodic deadly assaults of the undead. When the Chosen takes the Legion takes a significant risk, so it's not done without great need. They deploy only when their lack of presence would guarantee mission failure and high casualties, or their motives and drives align.
It also makes sense in why our band survived. The zombies to camp walked out and went, and just took them out. We've managed to
get scorched.
It's time to feel.
I have a feeling. if
you think? Yeah. No, I quite like this one. Pretty good. So yeah, we can go into the intro bit here. It's a short. We're going to jump in. We're going to do a bit of thing, and then come back, and we'll go through the leadership role picking as well. If we can squeeze it in. Does anyone have like tight schedule? Are we getting close to? Okay,
might grab another drink. I'm all right.
Yeah, we can deal with that. That's acceptable. Zora condones drinking when you're victorious.
Hydration's important when you're fighting.
Yeah. I love that the image is like Zora just like cleaving through swathes of zombies with the fire blade and just turning the camera. Remember, kids, hydrate when you're fighting the undead.
Because I'm a blazing light of.
Into that turns around and like, hey, we've all had great. I never ate without drinking 2 pints.
Everyone for your
remember knowings.
Yeah, straight from the springs of Zemia spring water. It puts the spring in your step.
Just to point out.
Yes, yeah. The nation of Ore also makes excellent, infused with alchemical pizzazz. Okay, we have our characters here, and yeah, the logic of how it all works is very much the same. If you click on your skirmish on your sheet, it will give you the prompt things in. Yeah, let's talk about load before we go, because that's kind of important.
To ask, actually.
Yeah, sorry. The thing with this is there's a lot more that is sort of structured. There's a lot more bits that are defined. So that's in opposition to Scum and Villainy, where it's sort of I'll go in and like, hey guys, are you using heavy, light, or medium load? And then it's just that. But with this, it's about the sort of equipment that you get from the Legion, because you're not freewheeling space pirates. You're trying to be a soldier in this extremely poor situation. Also, there's a bit here that's about why rank doesn't matter. You used to have ranks in the Legion. However, the Legion is kind of destroyed, and all you have left are these. I think let's just go with some people. You have some people left, and it's not enough to justify rigid structures aside from the leadership, which we have 3 roles for. So that's basically the only ranks as we go. And then you might have had a rank previously. Doesn't matter now.
I was going to say, along that vein, guys, just to point out, obviously I have to use like my tonics. Anyone now? If we go for a light load, I have 1 tonics. If we go for a normal load, I have 2 use. If I go for a heavy load, I have 4 use. But obviously then I'm slower. So obviously
we don't know what mission was. We don't know that mission.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. As soon as I get to the bit where it talks about load,
I like that they've gone to like a middle of the ground kind of thing where you get certain things you pick to.
Yeah, and you can get upgrades for the utility as well, like more utility slots.
And Crimson Shot.
Crimson Shot is pretty good.
it really kills me. If I use it, I'm going to die.
It also kills the enemy real good.
You know what it is?
It's like some blood magic bullets. Like you have these like ensorcelled bullets which you bleed on, and
would
then
I don't know if it would this copyright, but we'd pull in like 30 seconds of Carry On My Way. Go full supernatural like ending. The stories, the road so far.
Yeah, there'll be peace once we're done. There won't though. Like, please note there won't be. Load, wherefore art thou? There. Okay, loadout. Legionnaires are equipped with some standard gear for their precision, being issued kits, weapons, and armor by the quartermaster. Before each mission, decide what your character's load will be. Light, your faster, less confused, equipped to travel light and expected to source supplies as you travel. Pick this if you want to be able to blend with the local populace, seem non-threatening, outrun your opponents, and sneak through tight. Normal load. You look like a soldier on a mission, or at least a bandit or a mercenary. Pick this one if you want to be ready for a variety of situations, but may need stealth on occasion. Heavy, you're slower. You look like a soldier ready for heavy combat. No one will mistake you for anything other than what you are. Pick this one if you know you're going to face trouble and want to be able to take heavy hits and solve a variety of problems. And the mission, so for our edification, each of the chosen comes with a campaign starting mini mission thing, so you can jump right in, which I highly appreciate. That it gives you a little taste right off the bat, and it also eases you into the stuff. Okay, we can pick the loadout as you hear this pitch, but is there anything we need to clarify before we dive in for a little bit of action?
I'm good.
Okay, everyone's good to go. Systems are green. We're going to start. I think it's probably one of those with the entirely black screen, and then there's some like increasingly loud noise in the background of just like combat and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it and maybe got something out of it. We actually ran the first mission after this, and you can find that on the Red Dice Diaries YouTube channel. There'll be a link in the show notes. Until we see you next time, take care, stay safe, and keep gaming.